Welcome back, everybody. Pro Wrestling Experience here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. 312-564-7375 is the number. If you want to talk pro wrestling, I'm Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at VoiceOfTruth94. We promote the good and the history of pro wrestling. This is not your show to talk crap about professional wrestling for 3 hours. You could find it out on Sirius XM or Grantland. You could do that if you want. But we like to promote the good in wrestling. Coming up on Saturday is one of my favorite promotions, 11th anniversary. It's a show called Epic. And I got the owner of AAW, Jim Lynam, on the show. Jim, how's it going, man?
It's going real good, brother. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Every time AAW's had a show, I always made it out of my way to preview the show. You guys are not on weekly on TV around here in Chicago, but you guys do have a online show that streams out of Roku on Maddie GTV, also on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Why did you choose wrestling? And tell us a little bit about AAW.
Well, I grew up before I moved here. I moved to Illinois when I was 16, and before that, I grew up on Long Island. I grew up a wrestling fan, a big WWF fan. Obviously, I went to the first WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden. Went to the second one at the Nassau Coliseum. I think in total, I was trying to count the other day. I think I've been to something like 12 WrestleManias. I'm a huge fan, and I was working at Q101 on the Mancow show, and I started getting into the indie wrestling scene. I didn't know much about it. I started out at a place called PCW, and they split apart and became AAW, where I met my partner, Danny Daniels, and the opportunity came to buy AAW. And, at the time I thought, this is cool. I'm going to own my own wrestling ring. And whose kid's dream is not to own their own wrestling ring? So as we've built it, AAW has become this, we put a lot of hard work into it. When we bought the company, we Danny and I made a pact that AAW, we didn't make our living off of it. We knew the only way we can be successful is if we treated it as its own entity, and we didn't, take money from it. We took, to this day, believe it or not, as crazy as it seems, we take any bit of money we make and we put it back into the product, and that's how we've been able to grow and have the roster of guys that we use, and then eventually open up a second company, AAW Vanguard, which will now, it's just featuring younger guys on the indie scene that may not get a chance on a show like ours because we're stacked. We're booking a year in advance, so we know we're going. So it's hard to crack into that show. So we've put on, Danny and I, crazy enough, and Mike Pekovich. We've been crazy enough to open up this second company to see if we can grow talent. Not any different than NXT. So as you know, a lot of guys on the indie scene are getting signed, and that's the goal for us, is to showcase the talent, and hopefully they move on and go on to bigger and better things. So that's where Vanguard comes in and kind of feeds the machine. So it's been crazy. 11 years. When you say it's our 11th anniversary, it's crazy to me. That's insane that we've been around for 11 years. But I think that says something about our product. The longevity is always a good thing, and I'm excited for Saturday because those are my favorite people to walk out in front of. The crazy people who pack. We've had to turn away. I think the last 3 or 4 shows, we had to turn away people at the door at the Eagles Club. So that place gets insane. So I just can't wait for Saturday.
You mentioned some of the guys that went through AAW. Names that come off the top of my head, like Sami Callihan, of course, Tyler Black, Uha Nation's going down there now. Davey Richards is killing it in TNA's. Eddie Edwards. Man, there's so many people out there. Ricochet killing it in Lucha Underground as well. Is there any one particular guy that personifies AAW in the past 11 years?
That's probably I would. Well, it's a group of guys. We always talk about the Mount Rushmore, and we argue about who would be up on it. Number one would be Seth Rollins, Tyler Black. Kind of put us. We kind of put us on the map as far as just growing with the company, and he grew leaps and bounds. Obviously, he's one of the best guys at WWE right now, and he started with us, so he's up there. I put Jimmy Jacobs up there, who was there with us in the beginning, and it took us a while to gain credibility on the indie scene. We had it with Danny. Danny obviously was a longtime wrestler and had been around the U.S. wrestling all over the place. And so he had the connections, but you have to prove it with your product. And when Jimmy came in, he kind of solidified a few things for us. Colt probably on there. You could throw Merrick Brave up there, who had those great wars with Tyler, and I know I'm going to forget, people, but there's different eras. Like you could throw Silas Young up there, who, at a downtime, we needed a guy. We didn't know how we were going to bridge to the next after Tyler, where were we going to go? And Silas was there to kind of carry the torch and once again solidify what AAW was. And then you look to today, where I think we were in a period where we were in a flex period, like we didn't know what we were going to do. Then a guy like Eddie Kingston comes in and bridges that gap again. So it's personify. I mean, if you had to look at one guy, if you asked me to pick one guy, it would probably be Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, but that there's all parts of those guys in there.
Also, a couple of talents that have always seemed to grow as a performer, whether they were just in AEW or even moving forward to Ring of Honor. I look at guys like Shane Hollister, Monster Mafia, and also Michael Elgin. You're talking about the AAW Vanguard promotion. You guys partnering up now. As a promoter, what are you looking for as far as talent to be in AAW? I openly admitted on the show I've had inquiries and joining the business as an announcer or a broadcaster. There's no training school for broadcasters for the wrestling business, but as an independent wrestling promoter, what are you looking for as far as talents, whether it be a wrestler, commentator, or whatever?
Well, it all depends. Like with Vanguard, we are trying to give guys an opportunity to be characters. That's the key right now. I think that a lot of places you go, you don't get the chance to be a character, and that's a big part of wrestling. If you watch the AEW shows, if you saw that last promo with Silas and Eddie Kingston that you put on that we put up on our YouTube channel, those guys are intense, and you believe it. That's because they believe in what they do. They're well-rounded wrestlers. So whenever we're looking for a wrestler, there's a lot of guys who can do a lot of moves, but you got to be able to get that crowd to believe in what you're doing. So we're always looking for great characters, and that is such a huge part of AAW because we have the screen, we cut a lot of promos. Where that intense feeling of being in the Eagles Club, especially where Vanguard is running for the rest of the year, those people are right there. So they've got to believe in what you're doing, and you've got to drag them in, and you've got to get their attention. They're the toughest judges in the world, and anytime we're looking for a wrestler, we're looking for the whole package. And with a lot of these young guys, the good thing is that they can come in and they got a guy like Danny who can help them round out and become the whole package. I always joke that, it's good cop, bad cop. Danny's always the bad cop. I'm always the good cop. So there's an ebb and flow to a guy coming in, and he'll learn how to be a wrestler, not just how to wrestle, because, a lot of these guys come in, they're very talented, but you have to be a wrestler. And a broadcaster is someone who can move the storylines along is someone who can describe the action in the ring, get whoever's watching it on a DVD as excited as the people are in the crowd. The problem is a lot of the times it is hard to get that feeling in a live setting across on a DVD, no matter how you shoot it. Mm-hmm. So it's their job to not only explain the storylines that are out there, but to get that feeling, make them feel like they're a part of that being in that building and how exciting it is, because it's an important part of the AAW product. So, you know, if you listen to Phil, who I said I would put over, he's very good, and Derek is very good at getting it, and so is Dave about getting the product feeling over on a DVD, and that's a hard thing to do. A lot of the guys will just like hire their friends, or which there's nothing wrong with that, mm-hmm. but they eventually have to learn how to convey the product and how to help develop your storylines and like I said, get that crowd feeling across on a DVD, which is not easy to do. I'd tell anybody, watch Phil and Derek, watch what they do, because I think they're the best two commentators on the indie scene, bar none.
This is observing the shows I've been to over the past couple years and just heading towards this event on Saturday. There's three entities of AAW I can tell on the show. We finished a long feud at Day of Defiance last year in a steel cage match with Eddie Kingston and Silas Young. Silas came back last month. Now we're back at it again. The Iron Curtain with Gregory Iron blowing all over AAW. And then, of course, Monster Mafia. And also Matt Cage. I can't forget about him as well. What do you want people to take away from this show as opposed to the most recent shows? Great appearances from Davey Richards. We got Eddie Kingston, Silas Young. We got Ohio for Killers is back against Zero Gravity. Tell us a little bit about the show this Saturday.
Well, this show is like Danny put on Twitter. He said, if you're looking at the 10th where we're having Samoa Joe and everybody there, and you're looking at it and going, wow, the stars. This show on Saturday, besides the great talent that's on it, it's going to tell a story. You're going to notice throughout this whole year, which I think we've done a fantastic job of doing. You're going to follow the waves of where this whole storyline goes, all the way through the end of the year. And that's what we want people to be able to do. We want people to follow along. We're telling a story. There's a story, and there's a reason to go buy the DVD and find out what happened. Not just read results. You want to see what happened, because that is the beauty of wrestling, is the art of telling a story and being emotionally involved. And Saturday is going to be intense. Kingston, Silas, two of the best guys on the indie right now. I'm guessing you're going to be able to feel the intensity in that place. That place will blow up.
I've seen every single Eddie Silas match since this feud started. I don't know how they're going to be able to top their past one, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, then that's the thing is that the emotion involved in it is now it's they put the foot on the gas. Now the emotion is over the top, and you have that big, huge match feeling going into it, and that's what Saturday's about. Irish Airborne, Ohio is for Killers. I'm so happy to have them back. Zero Gravity has been doing great work. The Hooligans, real good stuff. Matt Cage on top of his game. I mean, it is really amazing, how it works. And we're like, I know there was some time, maybe last year, early 2013 or whatever, or late 2013, we're like, man, how are we gonna bridge the gap? And guys come in and they just turn, and I think they've turned it up a notch. Mm-hmm. I think that the people are more emotionally involved in what we're doing right now. It's a great thing. So you come Saturday, and that Eagles Club with all those people packed in there, and the over the top emotion that'll be involved in the matches. There's no reason not to go.
Epic's 11th anniversary for AAW, Saturday, March 21st from the Berwyn Eagles Club, 6309 West 26th Street in Berwyn, Illinois. Doors open at 6:45. Bell starts at 7:30. General admission is $15. Still tickets around. You go to aawrestling.com. Also check out the show coming up on All Shim Weekend on April 10th. Samoa Joe's going to be in town. Jim, I'm really looking forward to the show Saturday. I'll be there. Hopefully I get to meet you in person and chat. I really appreciate you taking time out of the day to come on the show.
No problem, dude. Come right up. You see me, I'm always walking around. Just come up to me.
All right.
Punch me in the arm or something.
All right, we'll do. I'll talk to you later, all right?
Thank you, bro. Have a great day.
You too. All right, that was Jim Lynam, the owner for AAW. Really cool guy. We'll have that interview out on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com with our podcast this week. Guys, I really do recommend you guys checking out the show on Saturday night. It's going to be a blast. I have a fun time every time I go to AAW shows, and it's worth your time as well. We're going to head to a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to my friend Brian Sosha. 60 Minutes with Sosha will start